to bring us back down to reality, Williams better than us. Not something I'm used to saying, but obviously if it's truth, then I gotta say it. So Williams are better than us on paper now. We just won at Singapore, and Italy we retired from second. Belgium we won. We're really on a roll. Every other race we're having good luck, and that's basically how it's been since pretty much Monaco, where we always have those 1 or 2 good races before a bad one. And now, especially at this round, you know, it's supposed to be a good track for us because we have a lot of engine power and a lot of drag reduction. We only need 1 more drag reduction to have maxed out drag reduction. And I'm just gonna skip practice 3 because practice 3 is overrated. Because, not gonna lie, I've done everything already this weekend, so it's calm. So if I don't at least get top 2 in this race, then honestly I might as well just like quit here. Just quit everything. Living, breathing. That's all overrated. So it's gonna be dry all weekend, which is why I'm saying it's gonna be so good for us here. Because I could not drive in wet conditions, and luckily there's not even a drop of rain on track. So I got nothing to lose this weekend. The only person I can really blame if anything goes wrong is me. So, yeah.
Well,
yeah, I'm just gonna skip that for once because that does get repetitive, let's be honest. It's not like it actually gives you any info. So if we actually check this out, we are running quite a lot of aero, 5.5. Now that does seem counterintuitive, but if we think about it, third sector, yeah, you actually do need a lot in the third sector because of how like off camber loads of the corners are. The last chicane, so yeah, the third and fourth last corners, those require a lot of grip, which you don't really get unless you're actually on high downforce. And obviously I haven't played this game in ages, so it feels really weird, as actually I've been playing not much racing games actually. I haven't played Forza Horizon in a while, so really this game is not really first hand for me. As you can see, just completely running wide out there. And then the issue here is, like, the first white line is the detection. So, like, yeah, anyone that doesn't really know that is gonna think that the first line is actually... Okay, so,
engine off, engine off.
I'm just gonna flashback that because for some reason the controls didn't want to let me brake. I have no clue what that was. My control screen did not want to let me brake. So of course I'm going to fix that. But I'm actually making sure my controller goes in properly. So that's just great. This is just what you want at a stream. Great. Just want some laggy controller that doesn't even work. Alright, calm. Now it's working. Alright, calm. Here we go. Now let's just pretend that I went straight into the wall at turn 2. Yep, turn 2, not even turn 1. As you can see, we're 3 tenths up in the first sector. I haven't played this game in this amount of time. That just proves how OP this car is. It might not be the best on paper, might not even be the second best on paper, but around this track. Alright, and just to prove that I'm actually running 100 AI, there, done. Anyone that's sus for me catching up to Magnussen in a straight line, but it seems like he's not even on a flyer, so if he wasn't catching up to him, that would be a bit sus, but I'm 1.8 up, so yeah, that's definitely sus. And to think that I haven't even touched my steering wheel in ages is actually very shocking. But yeah, that penultimate corner is probably like the only corner you can probably tell that I haven't played this game for ages on. But
You've just put in
yeah.
the fastest.
Other than that, we're calm, so I can just retire from the session. But that's pole, well, yeah, fastest in Q1, not really pole. You can't really say pole. I don't think there are going to be many shockouts in this session. Yeah, not many shockouts. Gasly's out, but other than Gasly, like Magnussen was close to being out. Gasly was out. Other than that, it was kind of stock standard. And as you can see, we're only a tenth and a bit up. So, yeah, considering I haven't played this game in probably since the last stream, which I've done on this game, that's good pace. And that's only gonna get, that's probably gonna get faster as the weekend goes on and progresses. So yeah, now into Q2. I'm honestly just gonna fast forward to the end. As yeah, like, you barely get any wear around here, that's why you might as well just start on either compound, but my body doesn't work well with starting on the softer compound. The honest reason is, I don't know, like, it doesn't feel like you have that much grip when you go from use softs onto fresh mediums compared to use mediums onto fresh softs. Especially at this track where used tyres aren't even that bad on wear. But obviously that's just my opinion. Obviously it doesn't mean your launch off the line is 10 times worse, but in my opinion that's worth it for the end of the race, where you can just catch and overtake all the AI. You can tell this is definitely a McLaren track, as Leclerc's also up here with me. That was very deep into turn 2, so that's probably messed up this whole lap. I would have backed off, but there's no point because the speed that we have around here is probably way too much to get me knocked out. Even with a big mistake like that, I'm still fastest in the first sector. Well, I'm faster than the guy who's on pole, so yeah. Yeah, that's why it's calm. I don't have that. So even with 5.5 wings, we still have a lot of straight line speed. So I might lower that down to 2.5 just so we have more rear stability. That way the rear wing is way higher than the front wing. But of course that will reduce my third sector space, so honestly it's one step forward, one step back. And yeah, the idea that it's a one stop means I actually get to use 2 fresh sets in Q2 rather than 1 fresh, 1 old. So yeah, 4 and a bit tenths is that. There was no time to set another lap, so if I'm out here then might as well just start from the back of the grid. Yeah, because there's only 50 seconds left in the session. So yeah, just preparing for that. I don't want to see where I am. So yeah, it looks like I was the only person smart or stupid enough to try the medium strat. And it was less than a tenth off of succeeding, so yeah, who knows. This really is a McLaren track, so I could probably start from last and still got like P3, so it's calm. I have a lot of advantages that the AI don't have, but again, I have a lot of disadvantages that the AI don't have, so honestly, it just depends how you look at this race. I get fresh tyres starting from the back. I'm probably just like, yeah, I would be in the best place. I would be theoretically in the best place, but honestly, I don't really care. I'd honestly just rather have a fresh power unit.
It's not quite where we'd want to be on the grid, but chin up, it's not the end of the world.
Really, no way, Jeff. Yeah, I know we have enough fresh power units, but this is just to ensure that basically I can almost chuck in a fresh one every single race from here on out and not have a penalty for it, because I'm starting from back anyway. So yeah, the gap that Merc has is slowly and slowly dropping because they're becoming less and less relevant as the episodes go on, because they're now 5th best and not even that far ahead of Ferrari. So really, like, the top 7 teams are all quite close. The 8th team, not even that far off, but 9th and 10th are very far off. So really, it's just gonna be an issue.
Good afternoon from Sochi as we prepare to get underway for the Russian Grand Prix. The championship battle has some time to go yet, but still expect no quarter to be given here on this circuit that made its debut in 2014 and has already seen some classic racing. It's time to go racing then in the Sochi Autodrome, where the long run down to the heavy braking zone at turn 2 is one of 2 DRS zones around this 3.6 mile circuit. The other, of course, down into turn 13. 18 corners make up a lap here today, with an average speed somewhere in the region of 130 miles an hour. Anthony Davidson, a very warm welcome to you as you join me in the commentary box for today's event. Let's talk about old time. As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and starting alongside is Nico Hülkenberg. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Butler, Charles Leclerc and Perez, Weber, Grosjean, Russell and Daniel Ricciardo, Vettel, Hamilton, Robert Kubica and Giovinazzi, Norris, Gasly, Kevin Magnussen and Kimi Raikkonen, Sainz and Oldtimer. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
You qualified lower than we expected. See if you can make up some places off the start.
Oh yeah, obviously I qualified lower than expected because I'm expected to flipping get pole every single race, aren't I, Jeff? But besides the fact that I'm supposed to be like near the front of the grid, like the fuel strategy, I'm probably just gonna go like 1 lap up or 1.5 laps up because, yeah, and I really just want to have as much straight line speed as I can. Oh yeah, I forgot. I've been doing no hard no anything recently, so that's why these things are off. Tutorial notifications is like the only thing I will turn off. Everything else that can be on. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm the only person starting on the mediums, but whether I am or whether I'm not doesn't really make much of a difference to me, as me starting on softs isn't that much of an advantage, as later on in the race I will be able to come back at these guys with fresh softs while they're struggling around on mediums. So Honestly, it's just a waiting game for me, honestly. Do as much as I can in this first stint, but that wouldn't be much. So, yeah. I've learnt to be way less aggressive on my overtakes, which is either a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you look at it. But luckily there's a Ferrari in first, which means no one, especially not on my teammate, will be running away. You can see way less aggressive on my overtakes. I only tried to overtake 3 people there compared to I used to probably in that scenario try and overtake 5 or 6. Yeah, it's so weird to see front runners near the back, but we all had terrible qualities, so, and those of us who didn't had penalties. Honestly, like Magnussen's probably shot up to like first or something, but I'm not seeing him. I think he's even in front of Kubica, wherever Kubica is, so yeah, the 2-5 wings means that we just get pull at the end of the straight. And yeah, as we make a move on the driver who didn't get a seat at the beginning of last season, who's trying to stick around up the inside, but yeah, we'll just gotta squeeze him out here. And that's also up in the P16 by the end of the first lap, which is pretty good, as Hulkenberg is leading the race. But I don't think that will be a true statement for much longer. So yeah, the only thing that really keeps me in this race is the straight line speed of this McLaren, with all the engine upgrades we've done. Without the engine upgrades, I don't think I'd be able to keep it up with these guys. Honestly, I feel like I would mess up every single lap. The only thing I really need to do now is probably brakes, I'd say. Or probably chassis, but obviously, you know, my strategy is just neglect the chassis. I think you really need on chassis, in my opinion, is tyre wear upgrades, because you can get aero and power, which is all really most people talk about. Not many people talk about a lightweight chassis. It's all about how good is the aero, how good is the engine. I'm only doing the realistic approach. As you can see at the end of the straight, we just started to pull in Norris. Yo, this car is so heavy actually, never mind, screw what I just said. It's so hard to make these corners, because there's so much power in the engine, but not enough turning to actually make a difference, so yeah. As Perez sets the fastest lap of the race, and now Magnussen sets the fastest lap.
Entering lap 3 now. DRS has been enabled.
I know Magnussen is pace, but that is not a good omen for the rest of the championship. But let's just do what I wanted to do earlier now. See who's starting on what tyres. Anyway. Yeah. I'm the only one on mediums, which means I'm the only one confirmed to be going on to softs at the end. Because I'm not got on the hards. If I probably like broke my front wing now, I'd go on the hards. But even breaking my front wing on like lap 7, I could probably still go on the hards. On to softs only. That's why it's not an issue. It's that purple first sector with the 2.5 wings. That's why the 2.5 wings is so good. Yeah, it ruins my corners, but honestly, in this car, we already excel in the straights, might as well make it that much better, to the point that the straights are like our best friend, and corners are our worst enemy. Also, just gotta push the ERS. Might. As we make a move on Vettel, I almost looked on making a move on Ricardo, as we touch him. Yeah, I think I actually need to turn sim damage back on here, because I'm driving as if it's on, and like I should just turn it on. Time for the next episode. Yeah, already up into P13 by the end of the 3rd lap. I'm doing some Max Verstappen shit. Sorry Susan, please don't demonetize me. feel like I'm not making money off of these videos anyway, so it's not like making money is even an option for me. But yeah, Ricciardo's straight line speed just isn't much really, as you can see by pulling out to the left hand side at the end of the straight. He almost brake tested me. Very point where that was probably gonna try and make a move in a sec. So yeah, we got a blast past Ricciardo down this back straight. So actually we do have damage from the Ricciardo incident. As the game's such specialness though it didn't even want to show me. So that's why the lack of downforce feels even more like a lack of downforce. So yeah, I might actually be forced to damage the front wing more before the next stop to actually fix that. My only shock is that Leclerc hasn't made it up into the podium yet. Like I know, like from second until
let's increase ERS deployment to up the pace.
Could say even up to Vettel, but not really. Now it's third until Vettel. I would say as the Racing Point gets past. I mean the Force India or whatever it's called got past. My real question is, will Hulkenberg get back at the Racing Point? Probably. See, this is where it becomes an issue because everyone's just slipstreaming each other, which is where their strategy will beat out mine, as I need to get damage on my front wing.
Okay, you're catching the car ahead.
Means I gotta get damage off of someone on like lap 12. Means I gotta go 3 laps with a damaged front wing, just to make a good strategy call for the soft stint. It would definitely be worth it. At least it would be, in my opinion, having the extra downforce through all the corners. Even if it's not by much, every little helps. Alright, yeah, at this point we're going so slow in the train, as Leclerc is actually next up to overtake Nico. By checking that, I missed the apex there by like 12 years. So yeah, my idea is we'll just overcut everyone in this train by not being stopped.
Right, some information on Ricciardo. They're slowing down.
Because these guys will all be stuck behind each other, and I won't be stuck behind any of them, as that's us up into P11. So, and then we just get a lot of understeer through there. So yeah, as you can see, on to lap 7, and we're just behind the points, which is both Haas's. Great. Look at both the fastest cars are down here with me.
Increase ERS deployment to overtake mode.
And they're not even that quick on a straight line. I think Okay, that's a lie. They're like the second fastest in a straight line behind me and Charles. But what was that brakes? He just released it like just before like the apex. I think that's what lost it for him, because I would have had to go way more on the outside, but he made himself go deep, which had more speed through the apex. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. All I know is that he probably would have kept the place if he hadn't released the. That's us off into the points, I'm guessing, on lap 7. So about a quarter of the way through the race, and that's off up into the points positions with a half damaged front wing. Not really half damaged, but with a damaged front wing, with a damaged ego. But really, Magnussen's the one who's damaged in this race. He's the one trying to make more of a comeback in the championship than I am. I'm barely behind both Mercs, who are now really out of the championship running because of how their team is refusing to basically upgrade at the same rate as us who are now at the top. McLaren, Haas, Williams, and that's basically pushed Bottas and Hamilton out of the running order for the championship, which exactly puts drivers like George Russell in contention for it next season in his Williams, as long as he doesn't transfer over to the slower team. But knowing how this game works, Hamilton or Bottas will somehow find their way into one of the top 3 teams, as Grosjean goes for a very aggressive move there on Lucas Weber. So something I was not expecting to see, but we can capitalise out of this into turn 4. Yes, we will go very wide before turn 4, before making a double overtake, because Weber locks up. I will take that. I'm never going to say no to an easy double overtake, but Weber comes back up our inside very aggressively. We barely keep it out of the wall. That's us back down into P15. What was Weber doing there? There's no space to make an overtake through there.
A new strategy is available on the MFT.
There's honestly no space to make an overtake through there. Yet he's trying so hard, and now that's us out of the points again. It's just great, but it's fine, because we have the OP engine in this McLaren, so even though we go all the way down from probably P8 to P15, it's fine. That lost us about 4 or 5 seconds, that spin, but it's fine. We have the car to make the comeback at the end of the race. Not only that, but we're on the mediums now, while all the AI are on the softs now, so we'll also have tyre advantage at the end.
Let's turn up the
It's not like we're on the same compound as them now. Because we actually keep that on the track and make around the outside move through the penultimate corner.
We're trailing our teammate by 6.6 seconds.
Yeah, I don't care, Jeff. It would have been way less if we hadn't been spun out by Lucas Weber, our teammate, back in F2. As we close up to him a lot. Maybe Kubica's damage, maybe Grosjean has
so I
damage.
expect they fix whatever the problem was.
Yeah, that was for Ricardo, the speeding up again thing. As, again, Hamilton knocks up this time I'm making sure I slightly cut the corner there. That way I'm not the one taking damage here for someone else having an issue through turn 4 and turn 5. As I already learnt my lesson from last lap. Vettel is like the only person that doesn't fit in here in this fight. From Grosjean until me, Vettel is the only one that needs to get out of the way for this to be like actual front running. Like honestly, Leclerc has such a good chance to win this race that if he doesn't even get like top 3, if he doesn't get on the podium, I would actually be like massively disappointed in him. So yeah, 9 laps into the race and we practically used 1 lap of fuel over, so that just proves the fuel efficiency of this McLaren. Normally it would take like 4 laps around here to drain a lap, but the McLaren is so good on its fuel now that we only need 1 more ultimate upgrade before we have maxed out fuel efficiency, at which point we'll barely be using any fuel in the race. Yeah, sadly we won't be making another easy move on K-Mag. I have a feeling his AI's got to fight back this time. So, honestly, who knows? So yeah, all the way from 9th until 12th. This is a proper front of the good battle. Why? Because we're all part of the top 3 teams in Formula 1. The American constructor Haas, a British constructor, and a British constructor. And what do you want? 2 British constructors and American. It'd be better if like we had French instead of, if we had Renault instead of Williams, because then we would have had the 3 World War 3, World War 2 winners and World War 1 winners really. But yeah, we would have had the big 3: George Clemenceau, Woodrow Wilson, and I have no clue who the last one is, even though I'm doing history for GCSE. Let's go. Honestly, how I'm driving this race is so poor. I should be probably up to Charlotte at this point if I didn't have that spin. But not much I can really do there.
Right, we need to get past here. Use overtake. Use overtake.
Really no way I thought we wanted to be behind him for another 12 centuries. Every single lap we're getting that tiniest bit closer to K-Mag, to the point that next up I think we'll be able to attack him into turn 2 and actually make a difference. So we run wide there, probably ruining our chances of attacking K-Mag. But I think Kubica is making that a big likeliness for us by holding him up. So I think Kubica, although we're in the opposite teams, he's helping me out here and make a move on the person he's trying to defend from. As we're way closer than we were last lap, but again too far away to actually make a move on another car that has DRS. Especially not another front car that has DRS. If it was a team like Renault who had DRS, I might be able to make a move, but again it would be too risky, and at this point in the race I'm not ready to make too many more gambles in a do or die move, as I've already lost out stupidly. Alright, so half of the leaders are in now, other half will be in next lap. We're in Charles' position I think in 2 laps, so I bet McLaren are doing Williams from a couple of years ago. And going 1 lap extra and another lap extra. So yeah, what I've realised is Haas are good in a straight, but they're even better through the corners, so that's where Haas are really gaining. They definitely gain on the straight to other teams, but not as much as you would think. So I'm saying they probably have a lot of their engine development on fuel and ERS, almost like us, but again to a lesser degree because that's like the only side we really do. I don't care how heavy the car feels, honestly, just as long as I can make overtakes down the straight, as long as we have a good race car, because honestly a race car, all you need, like a quali car, you need all 3 to set the best lap, but all you really need in a race is something with a good straight line speed, because having the good straight line speed is basically all you need to have a quick car, because that's how you make overtakes. You're not going to get close to a car through the corners, well you can, but half the time you're not going to be able to make the overtake through the corners. So Charles actually comes in this lap.
Charles is in the pits. We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
Yep, I'm coming in 2 laps. As the person who was leading the race at the beginning is Now the car in front of me on track. Now we're honestly just gotta see if I can overcut any one of these guys and hopefully make an inroad on them. As if I can overcut them, then that means I don't gotta overtake them on track. But with lines like that through turn 3 and 4, that's a big impossibility.
2.6 seconds.
Right, next up I might just go for fastest lap attempt on those mediums, because that 15 I'm coming in. So last lap I actually had to push on them is that 14. I honestly don't care about the half knocked up front wing. I'm just gonna have to keep it like this because there's no way for me to get rid of the rest of it without jeopardizing breaking the car. So yeah, although we just lost like about, I would say, 6/10 in the middle sector, it doesn't really matter because we're running lean and none. We're not really going for the speed that we need, so as we'll now be moving into the lead of the race.
And burn some of this energy.
Because now is actually my best chance to set a competitive lap. As Butler's the leader of the race, yeah, he's going on to hards, so don't know what's going on over there. He boxed in at like the halfway point of the race. One more lap and it would have been over the halfway point. And instead of going on to onto mediums, he actually goes on to hard. So clearly there's something wrong in the head of the Racing Point mechanics in this race, as they're putting him on a terrible strategy if they're trying to make him have a chance to win the race. If they're trying to mess him up, then they're doing that perfectly fine. But they're trying to win the race, they're just messing themselves up, honestly. No one else. It's like they're trying to make me have a chance at winning. At the moment it's saying we box now, come out P10, which I think is like behind K-Mag, which is the opposite of what we want. It would mean that on net we would have gained a position, but the idea that they're all just slipstreaming each other just honestly means that I have no chance of actually making up too much of a gap. Even with me setting personal best sectors and personal best laps, I don't have the car or the time to actually do anything. So although we didn't set any purple sectors, we set a purple lap of the race. Logic. Now it's saying pit now, join 5th. And that's if I don't fix the front wing, so might be good. I think just overall I'm just that tiniest bit off of the purples for those sectors. And those that set purple, let's say in the 3rd sector, maybe aren't so quick in the 1st or 2nd sector. Those that are fast in the 2nd and 1st sector aren't good in the 3rd, so there's our first purple sector, but we're actually coming in at the end of this lap, so it doesn't really matter what we do now. Honestly, I'm driving so carefully as soon as not bin it in the lap before in the lap we come in, because if I've bin it now, that will be very embarrassing, but that's not going to happen. So honestly, we're good for this race. So let's see, we just set the purple 1st sector on dead mediums. So
confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap.
We just gained 2 seconds on Bottas. So I'm saying now is the time to pit, because now is the time to jump everyone that doesn't have any good speed. So yeah, it's saying we'll come out behind the Ferrari in front of the Toro Rosso, but that's when we reach the pit exit.
Go, go, go.
Not the actual end of the pit lane, so who knows what will actually emerge in this race.
after these tyres now.
Alright, so maybe we will be out in P4. So that's actually calm, because we're out in P4. We actually have not seen our teammate the whole race. And we've gone from last to now 4th. On lap 16 now. See, after the spin we had with Weber, I wouldn't think that I'd be up here in P4, but my speed in clean air is so much more than I would think, and compared to the AIs, so I can actually get away with strategies like this. Yeah, although I have raised the front wing by 1, that is just to assure that we still have great turning at the end of the stint, because at the end of the last stint I was just dying at the end. This just feels like so easy to turn in compared to the mediums, which we had on like about 20 minutes ago. No, I'm joking, well, 2 minutes ago probably. But like, I'm setting purple sectors on with like no ERS basically and no fuel. So imagine my sectors when I'm actually pushing the car. Here's a tip, that'll be way better. So this is going to be like our first proper fastest lap attempt on softs. Because yes, we did have a fast lap attempt on the mediums, and we did set the fast lap, but it wasn't the greatest lap because again we went on softs. Again, I didn't have DRS down that straight, and honestly I just wasn't pushing the car to its limits because I was too scared to bin it. I did like that, so you can see 9 tenths up almost, 8 1/4 tenths up through the first sector alone. That's the difference I was suspecting for a whole lap. But we're catching up to Butler, who's on mediums, I mean hards very quickly, and just the idea that he gave me DRS down this back straight is so nice of him. We did brake maybe 10 meters too early through there, but rather 10 meters too early than 10 too late. And as some famous F1 driver said, if you don't go for the gap, you're no longer a racing driver. So we go for the gap there, even though we're trying to set our fastest lap of the race. And there we go, 33.3.
Keep this up.
See, if I just waited for this straight, I won't be under attack into turn 1.
Okay, you're creating some breathing space
It's fine,
between you and the car behind.
because he does not have
per lap.
McLaren engine in the back of that thing. He doesn't have me in Scholl's engine. If he did, I'd be dead. I'd actually have to run in hot lap and DR and overtake just to stand a chance the whole straight. So I think also just the idea that I have this engine definitely helps. So yeah, I'm just gonna run lean for the rest of this lap, then I can almost push for the rest of the race. So yeah. I'm tempted for just like once I take the lead of the race, just turn off the HUD and do what I was doing and just see how that looks instead. No slipstream and no DRS makes you lose 5/10 down that main straight apparently. No, maybe not only the main straight, but through the first sector. So yeah, that's good to know. Because it probably also chucked off my momentum as a whole. Again, I'm not going to set purple middle sector either. I'm really only going to set purple third sector. So that's why I'm actually backing off for the rest of the lap until the third sector. So yeah, just using the car where it's good, honestly. And I just want to improve the purple third sector to an even better purple third sector by using hot lap and rich through here rather than high and rich, and then getting held up in the penultimate and last corners basically. As I really am just pushing at this point just to make a dent in Bottas's lead, as I need to get all 26 points in this race.
You're increasing the gap to the car behind by a few seconds.
As Hamilton
Keep this up.
is going to get a few points, I'm going to get hopefully 26, if not 19. So that would obviously mean that I have all the speed in the world. So yeah, I can probably run rich to the end now because that's why I'm now. No, because I have the fuel to do that with. So no point in protecting the engine when I have like 10 of some components, 9 of others. So honestly, normal people would take like 5 or 6. Nah, I took 10 because I know around here I can get a good and easy win without really even pushing the car that hard. That's all I really see. I honestly just try and win races as easily as possible, and this was the easiest way. Even with a spin, even with a half spin, I still managed to come back to this point. Like, you would expect me to win at Russia, but not since I haven't played in so long. Not since I got a half spun and lost like 5 seconds and lost like 5 places or 6 places or whatever. You would have expected me to actually have an on-track battle with my teammate, but none of those things happened in this race. Like, I didn't have any close racing against my teammate, which is basically what you'd expect at every single twist and turn. Just good speed around everywhere around this track, because that's what this McLaren's built for, straight line speed, and Russia conveniently straight line everywhere. So this track is basically just made for this car, or more, this car is built for this track, because the FIA isn't just going to build a track perfect for one car, because otherwise, like, they might as well just call it the McLaren ring. Not even the Sochi Autodrome or anything like that, nah, the McLaren ring. And how is the Red Bull ring, which isn't even a Red Bull track? It's more of a Ferrari track, or at this point in the career mode, a McLaren track. I see anywhere with like at least like 5 centimeters long straight, no, I'm joking. Anywhere with like a decent straight is basically a McLaren track at this point. That's because no one's speaking to Siri. Yeah, so at this point, I'm genuinely just gonna show you what I've been doing recently. So turn everything off, basically. And then go into cockpit cam. And I'll do that here, just to make it easier. No, you can tell I never do this way. Now, this is like fairly normal for me, because this is how I've been playing F1 more and more recently. About 22 out of 27. my pace with this camera is way slower, but it's calm. Because at this point, if Bottas does come much closer, then I'll just switch back. But this is basically how I've been playing F1 recently. When and if I've been playing F1, this is how. No HUD. Just pure pace. Even my pace on lean and none on TV pod with everything on isn't this bad. Because I've been playing TV pod ever since I've been playing F1, so since 2013 now, so that's when I got my first F1 game in 2013, and the F1 game I got surprisingly wasn't F1 2013, 2011. Regarded as one of the worst or best F1 games ever, depending on your view.
Laps of fuel remaining.
Could be best because it was actually a competitive sport. You could probably get lap times that are faster than these lap times around some tracks. Like Monaco, F1 2011 was so much faster than Monaco now because lock-to-lock gameplay is just so fast.
We're not going to be able to run in this engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix too soon.
You don't think I realise that, Jeffrey? Just in case I have to, just in case it's like a safety car or something in this last couple of laps. I don't want to just get surprisingly overtaken just on like the last lap. I'd rather make like some stupid strategy work on the last lap. Because you know I'm like daring overtakes. That's old me at least. This new me? I don't know. Not aggressive enough I would even put it towards. But I'd only say that just because the driving style of this McLaren needs you to be very conservative and not really chuck it in because the car isn't light enough to just be chucked in. It has all the engine power in the world, but it's all the horsepower in the world, but it just can't be chucked into corners.
We're leading our teammate by 15.1 seconds.
Yeah, I think like the closest we've been to Charles this whole race is like 5 seconds, and that's when I was behind him. I didn't get any closer because he pitted, got far away from me, I pitted, and I kept in front of him, so really the closest I've been to my teammate is at least like 4.4 seconds, which is quite a big gap in F1. In real life, 4.4 seconds passes quite quickly, but in Formula 1, 4.4 seconds is an age. Like a pit stop, 2.2 seconds between cars. That is basically half of the Williams gap.
Bottas behind. Our gap behind is 3.2 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 11 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:36.3.
Right, so considering at this point we had a big gap behind, I'm just gonna turn the engine down. Just honestly just save it at this point, because we don't want to bring more wear to the car than we have to. And with the idea of an R&D reset still to come, I don't know, I don't want to put a lot into the reliability of the car when I might be leaving McLaren at the end of the season. I might be sticking around with McLaren in season 3. I might move into like Ferrari because they've dropped down. I might go to Williams just to see how good they've made that low tier car. I might go Racing Point because they have the highest ceiling. I don't really know at this point because I haven't really been considering my options. All I know is I'm just trying to drive as fast as I can for McLaren. McLaren is the only thing I see right now. I don't see myself moving yet because it's in the middle of the season. At this point I still have a chance of winning the championship. So why would I leave this team? I might just move to the team with the best chassis. Go holes that way. The car will feel really nice to drive. But who knows? Again, I haven't done much thinking. This is just me talking right now, just going straight on instincts, nothing else really. Because this is the only thing I really can go off of at this point in time, considering I haven't looked at the options, I haven't looked at the stats of the cars around us. I haven't done anything in ages. So I don't even know if ours has a good engine, or if their engine's lackluster now, or whatever. All I know is Bottas is catching up to me because I'm saving the engine, so it's calm. We're just pushing out on this penultimate lap and last lap. Obviously I'll push more on this penultimate lap because it's the penultimate lap. Yeah, so the gap behind's probably 2.2.
Bottas is behind you. The gap to the car behind is 1.7 seconds.
Oh, you're just going 1.5 seconds on
Their
there.
tyres are 13 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 36.0.
Yeah, considering it's the penultimate lap, all this gap that I'm making up now is honestly just for next lap, just so I have that safety net. But running wide in turn 5 like that, not exactly what I was hoping to do, but it is exactly what... Okay, maybe I should just shut up about running wide, because I know I've done it twice in like 3 or 4 corners, so at this point I should genuinely just shut up, because I'm really just commentator's cursing myself. Right, I know I can just run in rich and lean for the rest of this lap, then I can just push all out next lap. Honestly, this race has been such a mess. This weekend.com has been a whole whole mess. Have the pace to win races. Start from last and like 7th. Oh no, I don't flipping remember Charles' records because it's Charles.
This is your final lap of the race.
He doesn't have the pace like me. But yeah, either way, we started from last and like around 7th or 8th, and we've ended up 1st and 7th and 8th, probably. 7th or 8th, man. But I bet you Charles has not moved forward. Yes, we have to give him the idea that we gained 1 position in this race, so if he's 1 place behind where he started, or better than where he started, then he's done okay. If he's gone back 2 or more places, then honestly, I will actually get annoyed. Yeah, we just gotta come through the 3rd sector slowly, basically. And that. As we come through the final corner for the final time in this race, to win in Russia. Last thing I would have expected considering how this started.
You've won the Grand Prix.
But, you know, I take what I get. Can't take more than I get because I'm not getting that.
It was a tough race at times, but they've held on to take a great victory for McLaren today. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, when you overtake that many people, I'd certainly hope you'd win the race. Their car was really effective in the slipstream here today, and the team would be pleased that they didn't cook the engine, given how long they were spending in the hot air behind other cars. They had a lot of confidence to push their tyres hard as well, especially going into the corners, which allowed for some late braking and some exciting passes.
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I
Max
have to give it
Verstappen.
to Old Timer. They did a great job at getting the most out of their tyres without losing pace, something that's a very handy skill to have in modern day Formula One.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
29 points now to Bottas. We probably got luck in this race by starting in second with Hulkenberg in front. No, he started in first, but he got overtaken off at the start. You can't really blame on anyone, but we're finally in front of Lewis, so Lewis is no longer an issue for us. But Kevin, he's 98 points off of us, so I'd say he's pretty much almost out of the championship at this point. And with these last tracks just being good for me as a driver, it's pretty interesting so far this season. Gone backwards and forwards for us. We've had a lot of good races, but then a lot of mediocre ones. As you can see, we're now leading the rivalry again after quali, as we get a lot of resource points, and we now get to negotiate our contract.
Looks like one of your rivals is also going
pit
to
stop
an
efficiency is basically stupid because I always do one stops.
Take him on, it might help get your name out there a bit.
Let's do this and see how it goes.
They didn't like those
Calm.
turns.
I'll just drop
Let's
them down
try again.
both to 8th. Then we'll see how it goes.
We're asking for too much.
Alright,
We
fine.
need to
Break
make some
down.
compromises.
Quali. Yeah, might as well put race down to that and that down to that just to make sure we get what we want.
All right, the terms.
I probably could have gone 6th and 6th, but I'm actually just gonna save these points. Nah. Actually, yeah, I probably should, because it's. If I'm gonna spend them, it has to be on aero, because we're 20% off. That's I'm actually gonna get off. But again, it's not exactly the best idea we have, because if the game comes around and says there's an R&D reset next round, then we got no chance. So I'm not actually gonna go do that. I'm gonna do nothing basically. Just hope there's an R&D reset in these upcoming races. As you can see, I might as well move across to the 3rd and 4th. Almost 3rd on everything, I'd say. Almost 3rd on everything, basically. As they're all in the low percents, if not at nothing. So, yeah, the 3rd row is pretty calm for us. So, using the 3rd, which means that our overall wear is at 5%, which is calm. So starting from next weekend, I'm just hoping everything goes better and we don't get taken out by some German prick, because that, let's just say, was not fun, because I could have won that race so